Good morning, Stampers. Thank you for coming to Stamp with me today. I hope you're enjoying your World Card Making Day crafting so far. My name's Lauren. I'm from Stamping in the Tropics, based in the beautiful tropical North Queensland. And today I'm featuring Frosted Forest and Greetings of the Season. To just get started, I'd like to introduce you to this set. It's a great bundle. It's got the stamp set, and I know I haven't got the all on the screen, but there's some great Christmas trees here. So always be ready to look at sets that are not necessarily Christmassy Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like lots of sentiments and holly, and because sometimes the sets are more versatile than you first think. It's also got dies. You can see here that I like to keep my dies on metal adhesive slips inside sheets inside the case, but it also comes with really fun stencils or masks, and that's what we're going to play with today. So we're going to play with this large Christmas tree. So if you have this set or another Christmas tree bundle that's similar, grab that out. Let's get started. So today I'm using Misty Moonlight cardstock. So I have already cut it into my rectangle shape using the Deckled Rectangles die. You can use whatever shape you like. This card would look great with ovals or circles or rectangles. Just cut it into a square if you like. It doesn't need to be fancy. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp out our Christmas tree. So the Christmas tree I'm using is that larger one from the Frosted Forest set. And I'm using the coordinating Misty Moonlight ink. So you might have heard off screen that I like to tap, tap, tap. I don't think there's any great need to smush your stamp into your ink pad and press it onto my image. Now that's going to be our guide for using the mask. So don't stress too much about it if it's incomplete or whatever, because once our masking goes on, it's not as clear an image as what we think. I often like to stamp the outline on last, but the trees are a little bit tricky to line up, so I thought we'd do it this way today. All right, there's my tree, and I'm going to lay my stencil on over the top. Now, the way you can tell which images to use first, second, last, etc., is here we've got a notch, and we've got, in this case, it's an A. I don't know if you can see that, but there is an A there. And there's a B. So it's saying A, B, and then there's a C. Sometimes it's 1, 2, 3, but really, I find that sometimes I like to use the mask out of the order that, out of numerical or alphabetical order. I think it's a personal preference thing. It's only there as a guide. I've got my brush. I've lined up my image, and I'm just getting a little bit of the ink off the ink pad and onto the mask. Now I'm going to start off the mask just because I don't want to get a really big blotch on the tree. And I'm just going to start in a circular motion, moving across the image. Now, I didn't really need to re-ink then because I could have pulled it up off the mask. And you can use washi tape to hold down. I can never find my washi tape, so I just use my fingers. I'm just going to flip backwards and forwards, see where I like my... Yep, and that's probably what as much color as I would like on that first layer. Okay. So you can see I'm getting a really gentle tone on tone there. And this is a great technique. You don't need lots of colors to get a great image. That might be a bit better. All right, so now I'm going to my next image. I'm sticking with the same color. Okay, so I'm just going blue on blue on blue. Now I'm just going to line this up. Now remember, we could have used the notches, but I didn't mark it when I started. So if you haven't started already and you're new to using masks, please remember that these notches are here so that you can mark them and you can line them up more or less straight up. But I am an eyeballer, And even if you've come to any of my in-person classes, you know that I eyeball it. And we're usually pretty okay. But here's the trick. If you can't line it up again, line it up, or you forget, like I did. You can line up your original image again. Okay. You can put your notch in. Except now that I've moved the thing, but it'll give us an approximate. All right. That did not go very smoothly, did it? All right, let's start that again. We're laying it over the image. All right. Don't move the cardstock. Okay. All right, and over the top we go again. One thing about my videos is I don't edit out little mistakes like that. If I edit anything, it's usually like a long pause, or I've had to find something, or the phone's rung or something. But I like to show you that I'm not perfect and troubleshooting along the way. Speaking of troubleshooting, you will notice that with my masks, I put it into the white acrylic ink, that paint that I have ready for the next step. So that's there. We're not going to turf this project though. I'm going to show you as we go along a way to deal with that. Okay, so I'm just wiping off my masks as I go. Okay, and I will wash those up a bit better after. Okay. All right. So there's my Christmas tree. Now that in itself, besides the white mark, is actually a really nice image. So what I wanted to show, so you could leave it like that if you like. And the whole idea behind this design was actually like a nighttime forest. So you can see that it's sort of got the dark shadows. It's very night. It's quite nice. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edges of the cardstock with the blending brush again. And it's just going to give it a little bit of a defined edge, because I'm working with just one color today. Anything I can do that just pulls it up out of the background is going to just add a little bit of an extra something to the card. And we all like to add a little somethings to the card. Okay. So see how I've now got that sort of darker look about it? You can see that when you go tone on tone now, I hope you can see that, it sort of has a bit more pop. Okay, and this is actually the card base I've pre-prepared, and I've done the same thing on that one. Okay, so you can see we've got a little bit of a just an extra something that I haven't had to have any extra product for it. I haven't had to do any extra work. It's just another way to use my tools. All right, so this third stencil, I have my bugs. I have actually labeled it as snow, because when I purchased it, I looked at it and I thought, oh, I'm not sure what that's. It seems very bulky. But it does turn out that it is very nice snow. Now, if you have ever crafted with me, you know I don't do snow as a general rule. I live in the tropics, hence stamping in the tropics, and I don't. To me, summer is hot. It's rain. It's cyclones. It's all of the things. But this time I bought some embossing paste, and that's what we're going to use to create a snow bug. Okay, remember, we don't have to be too worried about this. If it's slightly off, it's all art. It's going to be fine. All right, so I've got my palette knife, and this is embossing paste. So it's a very fun, you only need a little bit too. I'm just pulling it just a little bit. We can always add more. We can always put some back, so don't stress about it. All right, just checking my lining up again. Remembering that it doesn't have to be exact. Nothing is perfect in handcrafts. Otherwise, how boring. All right, and I'm just going to put a really fine, a really thin layer of embossing paste down. And there's two reasons for that. One is I don't want it to take very long to dry. Secondly, I don't want it to be very raised. Like, I want it to be still fairly flat. Oh, there's a canine kiss in there. Let me just... oh, the dogs. All right. Yeah, and I don't need to. Like, I'm not... This is not puff paint. This is not 3D. It's just to give you that extra look. So I'm just going to scrape any extra off. Just check on some of these really thin parts. Put the excess back in the tub. Now, these embossing paste, if you buy some, make sure you use it because it does eventually go hard. Okay, ready? Look at that. We have snow. One of the other things I'd like to play with, I haven't yet, but I'd like to play with that and see whether I'd get this a similarly spectacular effect if I say did that in a color to show blooms. Like, it's the wrong sort of shape, but you know, I'm thinking about the red of a flame tree or the purple of a jacaranda tree. Oh, I can see some dried paste on that one, so look after your stencils. So that's where we're at so far. So you can see that that's coming together quite nicely. I'm just going to put my ink away. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more snow. I know it's very unlike me. But here is a little bit of white acrylic paint I put onto one of my blocks earlier. And it's just the acrylic paint from the $2 shop. Just the normal acrylic paint. And I've just added a little bit of water to it. And you can see I've already been playing with this morning. So just a little bit. Sorry, I just put a little drop from my water brush on there. I just want it to be nice, not too wet, but I want the color to be able to be splashed because we're going to splash it. All right, so I've got some on a paintbrush. Okay, and I'm just going to... That actually worked better than it did in rehearsal. Okay, so lots of snow. Remember, snow is a natural thing, so it doesn't have to be perfect little dots or snowflakes. I've now got white paint on my shirt, which, funnily enough, my shirt is Misty Moonlight. Maybe more Night of Navy, but I've now got white paint on it. Okay, and this is something where you sort of can go a little bit overboard, so be ready to stop and say that's enough. But that's why we want to add the water, because we want it to spritz. Now, if you have got shimmer paint or a spritzer or something, go for gold. Okay, but this is just another way to add the snow. All right, so that's my first panel. Okay, now I wanted to show you, this is a panel that I prepared earlier so that we could play around with the piece that already had the snow dry on it. So this one you can see I've cut a little bit bigger in the deckled rectangle, which is fine. This one needs some more snow. Okay. Of course, if you have a snow stamp too, like a splatter or something, you know, it's your creation. All right, it's only a little bit of snow there. Probably need to add some more just so it doesn't look like I've spilt it. I will just add a little bit more paint, but only a little bit, like you only work with a tiny little bit at a time. So just the tiniest little bit, add some more water. All right, just mixing that up. That's better. Okay. So we've got the snow going on here. All right, that's much better. All right, so we've got snow going on there as well. So at this point, I haven't edged this one with the blending brush, but that would be the next step that I would do on this one. And you could add your little details. Get a silver pen, get a gold pen, add a star, add tinsel, add little bits, whatever you want. Okay. Now for my sentiment, because I always like to add a sentiment to the front of my card, I have used the set called Greetings of the Season. Now, this one was an online exclusive, but it's got full of really great sentiments. And what I really love about this set is that it's got ones that are like for the inside. You put it on the outside as well, but I like to put something short on the front and something a bit more in the middle. And I love it when the fonts match. Like, oh, be still my administrative heart. So I use this one a lot. I use that one a lot in the middle of the cards. Today I've used Love and Joy, and I have stamped that onto a circle. Well, I've stamped onto some Whisper white card, a basic white card, and cut it out into a circle using dies, and I've used Love and Joy. So I'm going to, now this is where I'm coming back to this one where I got that little bit of white paint. Now it's not really that noticeable anymore, but this is where we can cover up. So this is where I could add my sentiment over the top. You wouldn't even know it was there. Piece of ribbon, some bling, something like that. I do want to show you one option that I came up with before, because what happened was I did my sample piece and I blobbed the ink, and it was just, I was trying to work out how I could cover it in a few different spots. So I ended up, I've cut it out using the die that I showed you earlier. And I have added snow to a plain piece, a deckled but unstamped piece of card. Okay. With dimensionals. So it's going to stand up a little bit. So there were ways to solve it. Like that. We like to say there are no mistakes in crafting, only reasons to add more things. But sometimes if you really don't like it, it is okay to cut it off. It is okay to start again. It is okay to throw the stuff in the bin. Like, it is just paper. Okay, so please don't stress about it. We are here to stress for success and fun, not stress. So we've got, that bug is driving me mad. Okay, so I've got a couple of options, a couple of trees there. Some are drying, one is ready. So let's come back to my card base. Now I've shown you that I went around the edges to create the card base to make it, give it a little bit of pop. And then I looked at my tree on the front. Now, if you are a beginner stamper and you like a simple card, that is more than a beautiful card. That is, like, we could add some gems on it. You know, it's covered up that little spot. There's nothing wrong with that at all. This one, I added a silver strip just to make it pop a little bit more. And I've just got paint on it just now. Look at my fingers, how ridiculous. But you can see that it's just got a little bit of a pop there too. Okay. What I've done is I've actually got another piece of Misty Moonlight, and I've run it through one of the 3D embossing folders. This one is called Timeless Text, I think. I had it here handy, but now oh, here it is. Timeworn Type, it's called. And this, I ran this through just to have a look, because without it being blended, it's a very kind of discreet extra layer that's just gonna, see how that just lifts it just that little bit more. And I've cut it a bit smaller than what I normally cut my mats, just so that we can keep that nice blended edge. So that's how I'm going to stick it down. I'll just put these other pieces to the side. Okay, let's get some tape happening. So I've already stuck the tree down. I've already stuck this component together actually, so you can see that I've put the strip on the back. I have poked in the sentiment. So now I just need to add my tape. And you guys know that I like to use tape rather than runners. I'm coming around to it, but I am a tape girl. I prefer tape over glue. And I think that's because I'm a messy crafter. And as you can see, I've got paint absolutely everywhere. I am the same with glue. It is ridiculous. When blogging first became a thing, I actually used One Messy Mama, because my husband would come home from work and talk to our then toddler, and he'd say, "Oh, look at what a mess Mum has made." Because, you know, I'd have tried to do something, and if I was sewing, there'd be thread all over the house. If I was stamping, then there'd be ink on my fingers and probably on the table. Like, I'm an artist, and I am not afraid to make a mess, and it shows. All right. So there we go. You can see that little mark I got on it has already faded. It's a bit, it's showing up in the video, but really it's not that obvious, but we're going to cover it up in a minute. All right, making sure that my writing is, even though you can't read it, I just like it to be right way up. Yep. Okay, stick that one down. And I'm just using up tape from my stash, because like I always say, I encourage you to use what you have. All right, sticking that down. Okay, I have got, where did I put it? I have got some gems to add, which I put somewhere saved. Oh, right here. Okay. So I've got these sparkle gems, because I just love these silver glitter sparkles. And what I do is, with the clear sheet, I'm just going to, I can just lay it over the top and think about what I like there. Now, if I put that there, you can, I don't know if you can see because of the light, but it will exactly cover that spot, and it actually looks quite good to have, them right on the edge. So I'm going to do that and maybe put 3 down the side. Let's start with 1. Of course, you should use take your pick tool if you have one. Mine has been misplaced since Christmas. And I have not bought another one, because I know the minute I do that, I will find it. And it's like a battle of wills. Okay. So there's those 3. Now normally I would have balanced that a bit better with the sentiment, but because I've already stuck the sentiment down, and that, I think it will be just fine. All right, that's the card mostly done. I can see it's a little bit crooked, but I'll fix that off screen. And don't forget as well to stamp the inside of your card. Add another little stencil tree if you want to. But I feel like that finishes the card, and I will stick that in afterwards as well. I hope you've enjoyed making this Misty Moonlight frosted forest card with me. I would love it if you left me a comment or shared a picture of your own creation that you've made along with me. And if you'd like to see more of my crafty adventures, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Stamping in the Tropics. I just had a mind blank then. So it's at Stamping in the Tropics. My name's Lauren, and I've really appreciated you coming and crafting with me this morning. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos that the team have got ready for you today and tomorrow, and I will see you again tomorrow for my other card. Happy stamping!